When a person dies, don't disturb them. Can I now make this more practical? Mambo ya makumbusho achana nayo. Mbona tunasumbua watu wamepumzika? Why are we bringing them up? You know, some things they look innocent. They're not. The devil disguises himself. Ni nini unataka kukumbuka? Huyu amevuka mpaka ameenda kwingine haezi rudi. The only thing you're doing as you do the makumbusho, you are opening doors to demons to visit you in the face of your mother. Then you say, I even saw her. She told me this and that. My friend, you saw a demon. You did not see your mother. But after the diviner tells you what you are looking for, he will now bring the agenda of the devil. So he did not stop at the answer. He told the soul, now, my friend, tomorrow, you and your sons will be with me. Are you seeing what you get from the diviner? You went to ask about your husband, you got information. But be careful what else you got. Because once you have submitted to the devil, you have signed terms and conditions. It is not for you to decide, I want part A and not part B. You take the whole contract. So you came to the diviner. Yes, she called up a spirit. And yes, the spirit has told you, you will be defeated tomorrow. But because you submitted to Satan and he was just waiting for you, he also tells you his vision for you. Was it true? Yes, it was. They were defeated, and that next day, the tomorrow, Saul and 3 of his sons died. I'm personally persuaded if he had not consulted the necromancer, Saul would not have died. I want to emphasize this. That woman at Endor could gather some information from familiar spirits. She also had divination spirit. She also had the ability to chant and to call up dead spirits, demonic spirits. I know for sure this was not Samuel. Where do you think Samuel was before Jesus opened the gate to heaven? Samuel was in paradise. But this spirit tells Saul, tomorrow you will be with me. Do you think Saul was going to heaven? We are not sitting as judges here, but I think some facts we can know. He had disobeyed God. God was not answering him. Saul was on the highway to hell. So where was the spirit that was talking to him? From hell. This was not Samuel by any measure. But the more serious point to make here is that necromancy is very dangerous because it brings death. It invites death. When people begin to consult the dead, what they are doing is actually to invite death. Saul died for 2 reasons, and you don't need the 2 to be at play. Even 1 is enough to make you die. When you go to consult familiar spirits, and when you call up the spirits of the dead, whether you know it or not, you're calling death itself, and people will die. So Saul died the same day with the 3 of his sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, and another 3rd one. And let me tell you, that was not the end. The Lord opened my eyes to see that when somebody engages in necromancy, they tie their generation. On one day, Saul dies with 3 of his sons. If you follow the story, Saul had 4 sons. Another one had a tough name, Ishbosheth. Ishbosheth was killed by his own people sometime after Saul and his sons. That is not the end of the story. When you go to 2 Samuel chapter 21, you discover Saul had also killed some Gibeonites, and there was famine in the land. And David asked the Lord, what is the problem, Lord? And the Lord told him, it is because what Saul did. So David calls the Gibeonites and tells them, how do we make peace so that it can reign in the land? They told David, we don't want anything else. Just give us 7 men from the family of Saul. And I assure you, the 7 descendants of Saul, men, were killed. Can I open your eyes? Sometimes you see a pattern of death in your family and you just think it happened. I came to discover very often when you see a pattern of death, and particularly premature death, it is because of this thing called necromancy. And the devil is subtle. People will do makumbusho like it's normal. I was discussing with man of God, akaniambia, no wonder watu wengi wendaga makumbusho, wakirudi the whole Nissan crashes. You called death, and when you call death, it comes. He doesn't miss the appointment. Saul, all his sons, and I believe all except of one of his grandsons, the only one that survived, Mephibosheth, was saved by David. A whole 1st generation, 2nd generation, all the men die. And then I was being a bit comical. I'm thinking the one who brought this trouble was a woman, but the people who died were men.